Hello, and welcome to episode 60 of Waxing the Nickel with Mainz and Dutts. I'm Mainz, my partner in crime in Rainford, Mr. Neil Dutton. How are we, Neil?
Yeah.
That good, eh? Sorry for the week off, Waxers, but we were busy with our other job. No, not the one we get paid for, but the UK Endzone writing one. Check out our reviews of free agency on ukendzone.com. I think Holly will like that, Dutton.
It's a good effective plug. It sounded a bit forced, but...
Well, I may have read some of it. Ollie gave me most of the words, to be honest.
He is the dreamer and the dream.
Speaking of dreaming, we did a 4-hour baseball fantasy draft last night, Dutton.
Well, in interest of full disclosure, we participated in a 4-hour fantasy draft. We did
2 hours.
2 hours. I entrusted to my deputy GM.
The computer.
Yeah.
Same here. Was that the hardest, most confusing thing you've ever done?
From a fantasy sport perspective, yes.
It was very confusing. I know it was the first time, and Waxers, I know most of you don't like sports, so we'll quickly move on. What did you think of the auction draft concept?
I think it's a good idea. I think for something that big, where there's that many players and there's that many people taking part in the auction, it was liable to drag on, especially with some people with the amusing habit of placing bids with 1 second left on the clock.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, you slay me, guys.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, that's the way it goes. Right, on this week's Waxing the Nickel with Mainz and Dutts, we're going to talk about 21st century annoyances, not me and Neil. The T20 World Cup, ironically enough, according to Dutton and Tony, a 21st century annoyance, and conspiracy theories. So you know what? Let's get on with the show. So Dutton, 21st century annoyances. This is your topic.
This is.
Talk me through it, what you mean.
Well, it just seems to me that the state of the world today, where we are at a certain level of technology, technological awareness, and mass communication, that there is a different way of expressing displeasure. And this, and basically the one aspect of this I'm talking about is the fact now that anything in the world you can petition against on the interweb. You can get sent links. 4,000. I'll cut to the chase. 4,000 people in this country signed a petition to stop Tom Cleverley playing football for England. Right.
Yeah.
That's 4,000 idiots right there.
Yeah, I don't like Tom Cleverley, but I don't think I'm signing a petition. It's like, I was just Googling. I Googled online petitions, and there's actually an online petition to end online petitions. I think that kind of sums it up.
Because we have a situation where, there's so many bills and so much of this, this very, very popular government, their time is taken up by so much stuff, because it takes hard work to screw the country. So you can't just leave it to chance. But
the views of this are Neil Dutton's alone, yeah.
Yeah.
Also me, but yeah. Anyway.
And, a silent majority. And these bills have a thing that, if 100,000 people sign them, then they must be debated. Now, obviously, there are some worthwhile bills. I'm not going out here and saying that, people who, have filled in petitions for noteworthy and well worthwhile causes. But to be honest, these petitions were filled out before the internet and before Twitter and before Facebook. But it just seems that now it's so easy to do an e-petition. I've had people sending me links to keep a pub in Croydon open. I've never been to Croydon.
I have. What pub was it?
I can't remember.
It was probably awful. There's a high possibility it was awful.
Yeah, I've no intention of ever going there. So whether it's open or closed, and if 100,000 people can honestly, with a hand in the heart, say they're visiting this pub on a regular basis, why is it in danger of closing?
This is the issue, and I think where you've hit the nail on the head, Dutton, is like when you tried to get 100,000 people to sign a petition in 1984. If you got 100,000 people to sign a petition, that was a proper petition.
Yeah.
For some of these now, you get 100,000 in about a week, Just whack it on Facebook, put it on Twitter, send an email to everyone you know. Do you know what I mean? Next minute, it gets retweeted by someone who's got a load of followers, shared by someone who's got a load of friends on Facebook. Push comes to shove, you got 1 million likes or whatever within an hour and a half.
Yeah.
They need to think this through.
It's confusing popularity with it's confusing popular with right.
Yeah.
And as I know, you can't be both often.
Well, I am usually one or the other, as are you. Done. Keyboard warriors is another 21st century annoyance, which kind of moves on to from the online petition. The thing I hate about this, and I'm deadly serious, I'm a Twitter fan. I go on Twitter all the time. I do not understand the Twitter troll. If you don't like someone, don't follow them. Don't give famous people a load of abuse. I don't really understand it. It's like, in theory, according to Twitter, no one likes Piers Morgan. So why has he got 2 million followers on Twitter? The easiest way to ignore Piers Morgan and all the Arsenal things he writes, or the Van Persie, or the other balls he talks about, is not to follow him, because then nobody's listening to him. It's like when it's that same kind of idea for me. It's when X Factor's on. Everyone says, I hate X Factor. That's interesting. 17 million people are watching it, and everybody's talking about it on Twitter and Facebook. So
it's trending across social media.
So how can you not like it?
It's one of those. I think again, it comes down to this. The technology has now become. It's communication of all kinds is so easy now. In the past, if you hated a celebrity, you had to go to the trouble of writing a letter, buying a stamp, and posting it to their address to show how much you hated them. Now, if you can get a carefully constructed insult into 140 characters, it's just a button away.
The thing is, though, most of them aren't carefully constructed insults. It's just either racist, homophobic, or just downright abuse in like about 3 words. Yeah, bravo. Get unfollowed. Get blocked. I just don't understand it. I don't understand the person's mentality. If you don't like him, don't follow him. You know, if you're dropping a, witty banter, that's different. You know what I mean? Good job there, Rio. 3-0. Is different to Rio, you effing blanking effing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That doesn't make no sense to me.
It's one of those that say it's unfortunately that again Twitter has millions and millions of users. We're blaming Twitter for most of it because it's easier because everyone can see their tweets. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And Twitter's so easy to use because it's free, and you can get it on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, whatever. You probably have to get it on the side of buses soon. It's just that. Because so many of these people who literally, the celebrities as well, will use Twitter to interact with fans, for want of a better word. And, I'm not one to criticise that because I've conversed on the Twitter and also via the medium of what we're doing now with some very, very clever and very interesting people. Unfortunately, there will always be the minority in anything you do who will get all the attention and will ruin it for everyone. And that's why you get people, I'm having a break from Twitter. I can't be bothered. And what they mean is, they can't be bothered clicking on the phone every 2 minutes and getting called a fat bastard by someone who's got 3 followers, follows 2,000 people, and has never written a friendly tweet in his life.
The thoughts, I know most of them won't keep the mentions active on the phone, so it pops up, but the thought of being like a relatively famous person with like 500,000 followers, 1 million followers, whatever, and like then going into your mention section and 50, 60, 70% of them just being abuse. I don't think I'd do with it. I'd just go off Twitter, if I'm honest.
Exactly, what would be the point?
I just don't get it. Dutton. Next. Poignant at the moment due to Ellen DeGeneres, and also a very worldwide cause in terms of breast cancer. The selfie. How did it happen?
It happened because with all advents and steps forward that the technology of photography has given us, the first thing anyone always does is point the damn thing at themselves. This was why the Polaroid camera, when it came out, was so popular, because now no longer did you have to, go to a chemist, to get your photos developed, having waited 2 weeks for it. Now you can take it and get developed within seconds in your own home. you can't tell me the first men who owned Polaroids weren't taking pictures of their bollocks.
Yeah. It's that kind of idea, though. When you speak to most people, they say, oh, I hate my face, or blah-de-blah. They always take a picture of it and then post it all over the place. Like, to be fair, Kay posted one of me yesterday on the Facebook, and it was poignant. It was related to cancer. Very nice. But seriously, I'm a pale ginger. No one needs to see that face on Facebook. You know, if it's on your phone, like I was pulling some kind of ridiculous face as well. So imagine you're just finishing your dinner. Thought, I'll check Facebook. Bang! My face. No thanks. Do you know what I mean? I don't even like looking at it in a mirror.
To be honest, I do have a big blown up picture of your face. I leave it on the mantelpiece to keep Zoe away from the fire.
Well, of course you do, and so you should. I have one for you as well. And this is how it should work.
Selfie is one of those. It's so self-indulgent. I'm that important. You want to see exactly what I'm looking like while I'm telling you how important I am. No one gives a toss.
I like the idea that, like, in the 1500s, Henry VIII had selfies, and he got Hans Holbein to do them, and they were called portraits.
Yeah, and he had to sit for hours.
He had to sit for hours,
at a time.
Possibly days, to get his thing done.
Anyway, it's what I mean. The best one is I like people who say selfie, and you can see both the hands. Well, you didn't take this.
Yeah, that's not a selfie.
It's not a selfie.
That's
like an autobiography.
Yeah.
Autobiography of who wrote it.
Dutton. 21st century annoyance. Probably started late 20th century, to be fair. That we can't tell anybody they're a loser. Everyone's a winner mentality. You have to give them some positive feedback.
Yeah.
You know, dear world, there's losers everywhere. You're probably looking at one right now.
Do you know what phrase, though, I blame for this? And especially, I am looking at, this country. There's one phrase that we can be blamed for that attitude.
Go for it.
It's not the winning or losing. It's the taking part. Bollocks.
The thing is, though, right, I literally, Waxers, I want you to tweet to @waxing_lyrical, tweet @Mainz7, tweet @End13. Who actually believes that? Who actually thinks like that? I want to meet you. Who thinks it's the taking part that counts? Who plays a game of, football, golf, tennis, tiddlywinks, the game of life, Monopoly, Risk, FIFA?
Where's your friends?
Just to lose. It doesn't matter if I win or lose. Rubbish. Why would you play it? You wouldn't play it if you were just playing it.
It's this idea now that, kids who play football or cricket for a team under a certain age, no matter what happens at the end of the season, everyone gets a medal. What for? Where's the aspiration to be better? I'm not. Obviously, there's a link into this. People who are constantly told how good they are generally turn out to be incredibly dislikable and have no personality whatsoever. But they've got to have the drive to know that being better leads to something else.
But that's
if you make this is always the issue I've had. If you make finishing fourth having the same prize as finishing first, where's the drive to push yourself to go for the first?
You know as well as I do, Dutton, that when we were kids, that medal that you won was amazing. That was an achievement. As you said now, you just get a medal for turning up. What's the point? Yeah. It doesn't really make that much difference. I don't like it. I don't understand it. If you're not good at it, that's fine. I haven't got a problem with that. But that's not what we're saying. We're saying that you're going to play and you're going to try and win. You're going to try and get better. You're going to do better than you did last time. You may not necessarily win. But you're trying to get better. You're trying to strive for something. Whereas if people say, it doesn't matter whether you win or lose, what are you striving for? Yeah.
And what are you learning? You learn more from your defeats, your failures, your mistakes than you'll ever learn from your victories.
Damn right, Dutton. Damn right.
Because you'll realise I made a mistake. Don't want to make that mistake again. Because it equates. Sport is obviously the prime example. Sorry, if people say, it doesn't matter. Just as long as you enjoyed it. Well, yeah, I do enjoy it, but I also like the fact that I enjoyed it because it was worth something at the end of it. And if you start teaching people, this mentality of just do your best and that's all that matters. Well, I'm sorry, when this kid goes to get a job and gets told, no, you're not very good, he'll go, well, hang on, I tried my best, so I should have the job.
Exactly, Dutton, exactly.
And it's rubbish.
It is rubbish. Last one. And this is me, totally me. Dutton is not. I'm really aware of this one. It's the 21st century. You know, technology's moved on a million miles, and we still seem to have cash, and especially coins. Like, they've just given us a new pound coin, which is coming out in 2017. Why don't we just abolish it? Why have we not got past cash, Dutton?
It's because it's still one of those things. You know, it's an easy way to balance the economics climate of your own country. You know, because if you're in trouble, you print more. If you're flush, you print less.
Exactly. So if you get rid of it and you just have people's money, then surely we get rid of this issue. We're going to move into some kind of macroeconomics debate here that we don't really want to. I just don't like the fact I have to carry around a load of coins to pay for stuff. That if I go to a vending machine, I have to pay with cash. I know that. I just want that. Now you've got that. What's it called? The contactless payments. I just wanted to use that all the time, or put me chip and pin in. I don't want to use money anywhere.
See, I have an issue that, if I want to go somewhere, I want to use money. It's not the issue I have that I can't believe I have to carry this money. It's more the issue of I can't believe I haven't got any money.
Yeah, but if no one's got money, then everyone's in the same boat, and no one knows what's on that card. Do you know what I mean?
This is bordering on communism, my friend.
I think I am. Best move on.
I think you've crossed the border.
I think I have. I read that when I did philosophy at university, politics and philosophy at university. Great book. It's never going to work.
No. But thanks for trying.
Yeah, thanks, Carl. Thanks for coming along. Right, Dutton, let's move on. The World T20 competition technically already started, technically hasn't already started, Dutton. Believe we're in Bangladesh, who just got beat by, like, me and you and a gang of lads, but are still got into the group stages. So we're going to quickly breeze through this, Dutton, because, most people won't be interested.
Go through this like a spinner through the England middle order.
Hey, exactly. So, Dutton, who's going to win? Who are the favourites? Who should we be looking for in the final?
Well, the favourites, as usual, in subcontinental conditions and in one-day cricket generally, you'd look at the Indias, the Pakistan, Sri Lanka. I personally think the West Indies are the reigning holders. Obviously, as we talked about in the past, they won it only because they had a catchy dance to get behind when they were celebrating.
Oh, yeah.
But they haven't got Karen Pollard. Chris Gayle, is on his day, is the most destructive batsman on the planet. And it's one of those. It depends as well with Pakistan, which Pakistan team turns up. New Zealand always seem to punch above their weight, especially in major international tournaments. Australia, it's not really their format, even though they do have some potent 2020 players. I don't fancy our chances in the slightest because we're carrying on our tried, tested, and perfected trick of turning up for an international tournament without knowing what our best team is. If pushed, I would have to say that the winner won't be Afghanistan.
Okay, that's excellent. You named every team in the tournament and told me one team that's not going to win. You should become Nick Knight on Sky. Okay, if you're not going to tell me who's going to win, who should I be looking out for that other people aren't going to talk about, considering you just talked about everyone?
Well, it's as I say, the teams who always seem to turn up for the tournaments, even though no one ever expects them to ever win. And New Zealand are the classic. They're bred on 2020. That's a lot of their players do play 2020 in tournaments all around the world. Your Brendan McCullums, your Kane Williamson, who came out with the excellent phrase, "Do you like 2020? Is it your favourite form of the game?" And he said it's in the top three.
Excellent.
I like you, Kane. You play for Yorkshire. You chuck the ball up.
He does chuck it.
But yeah, it's one of those, because these tournaments. I can't believe it's been 2 years since the last one. Technically it hasn't. It's 16 months. So a lot of the teams have the same makeups. Not the England team, as we say, because we're in one of our flux periods. So it's hard for me to say. The minnows aren't going to win it. So, Bangladesh, thanks for hosting it. But, it's one of those parties where you host it, but you go to bed at 10 o'clock and everyone else is still drinking your beer. So it really is wide open because, Yeah, it's a wide open tournament, which is good. It means the people who choose to watch this rubbish form of cricket will be entertained right to the end.
Okay. Proving that Dutton won't be watching much. How will England do, Dutton?
Based on current form, based on current frailties within the team, not well. Obviously, we won this tournament 4 years ago in the Caribbean, where we reinvented the slower ball bouncer, or as it used to be called, the long hop.
Do you remember when a long hop meant 6, not unplayable delivery?
Well, talking technical just for a second, I was talking with our good friend Dr. Andy Green, and he said the reason not so many people get out to the long hop as it is now is because they're moving around. They're charging forward, they're taking 2 steps back. If you set yourself, stand perfectly still, wait for him to deliver it, that's going over the mid-wicket fence. But because you're, crouching down, switching hands, whatnot, you don't know what you're going to do. There's no pace on the ball, and you do something stupid. Stand still, it goes over mid-wicket, and everyone will stop bowling it.
Maybe you shouldn't be a doctor. Maybe you should be a coach, Dutton.
Well, each to their own. But the England team, we don't know we don't know who's going to open. Owen Morgan is, our best one day player and T20 player. He's struggling for runs. He's got no real support. They don't know what to do with Josh Butler. Stuart Broad is around that time that he's injured again, which means he'll start this summer bowling too short, and everyone will call for him to be dropped. Yes, cricket does go in cycles, I know. So I just can't see us doing anything in this tournament.
Okay, Dutton. Final one. Any players that people should be looking out for as players of the tournament?
Well, there's, the obvious candidates. If you want the batsmen, you've got the MS Dhoni's, Chris Gales, Brendan McCullum's, Marlon Samuels, who was excellent in the Windies triumph 2 years ago. Then you've got bowlers, Sunil Narayan, bowler. I think Saizad Mal, again, bowler. And there's Ashenta Mendez, who literally is a mystery spinner because he can do anything with the ball. It's actually quite frightening. The spinners will be prevalent. 20 overs. It is a game that when it was first envisaged wasn't going to be. Spinners were going to go out the park repeatedly, but they do hold sway to some degree. And obviously, if he's in the mood, you've got Boom Boom Afridi as well.
Excellent, Dutton. So basically, we thought we'd do that justice. Not many other people talk about cricket. Dutton knows a lot about it. And it's also funny to hear him talk about T20 when he hates it. I hope you enjoyed it like I did.
I'm professional.
Let's move on, Dutton. Royal hats on. We're going to talk about some conspiracy theories. So basically...
What are we?
What are we, yeah? If we're allowed, if this doesn't get taken over by the men and, the
shadowy league figures.
Shadowy league figures, yeah. So basically, two of my favourite people in the world love a conspiracy theory. Don't you, Neil?
I do.
And we'll get to Kate in a minute. And with conspiracy theories running wild on the internet due to the awful events, literally awful events with the Malaysian Airlines flight, we thought we'd have a look at some of our favourites. So let's get on with it. Dutton, did we land on the moon?
Yes.
See, Kate and you were discussing that, and Kate is far from convinced. Convince her, Dutton.
It's a very, very popular theory that we didn't land on the moon because the classic one, you can see the flag fluttering. Brilliant. That all you've got? No, rubbish. I think NASA has invested that much money, much time, and we also go into this. A lot of lives have been lost in NASA's mission to journey to the stars. I just don't think they'd have played this card if we hadn't been to the moon.
See, it's that kind of idea. If I play devil's advocate / the Kate Malmquist here, she's completely comfortable that we've been in space. Her question to you would be, why did we stop going to the moon in 1972 when the technology now is infinitely better than it was then?
There's nothing there.
Well, that's what I said, but she was just like, no, we would have gone back and we would have made something go there. Do you know what I mean? I'm not too sure, like.
No,
I think we landed on the moon.
Yeah, we landed on the moon. We expected to find stuff, and 5 years later we realised we're actually just looking at a big boulder in space.
We are. So we moved on to just going into space. So, Kate, unfortunately, me and Dutton aren't with you on this one. So it's just a tinfoil hat for you, I'm afraid.
Unless, of course, you just like to look up at the sky every now and then, just for your own amusement and say, that's no moon. Which I've never done.
Of course. Dutton. The most famous of all the conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm.
The JFK assassination.
Yes.
Was it Harvey Oswald? Did he do it on behalf of someone? Why did someone kill him? How could he get so close to killing them? What about the CIA? What about the Russians? What about the mob? This has made an industry itself. What do you think?
Well, there's about as much chance of Oswald acting alone as me killing him. And I wasn't born for another 27 years. Was it 27 or was it 17? 17. 63. Yeah, 17 years. Got to see, or was it? I've been reading a lot of books about the mob lately. One of my co-workers has lent me them about Sam Giancana and The Outfit, which is the name of the Chicago branch of the mob, and their influence on American society. And shall we say this? President Kennedy's dad, what a straight shooter, hey? What an morally superior, upstanding citizen. If the mob did have anything to do with it, it was because of promises, which is not a phrase I want to use too vociferously, made to the mob on behalf of the Kennedy camp not being fulfilled. There were a lot of people very displeased with Kennedy at the time. The CIA and the failure to successfully invade Cuba and remove Fidel Castro. The mob, as I say, weren't happy because they thought they'd bought the president. Even if you want to go even closer to him, Lyndon Johnson, the vice president, wasn't particularly happy that he'd had to be the second banana to Jackie. There were an awful lot of people, and it smacks of absolute ludicrosity to me that this one man who was brilliantly set up as a patsy couldn't have fired the shots. The recent thing, but he actually could. No, he couldn't. It was shown at the time he didn't have the proficiency to fire 3 shots at that accuracy, at that speed. Didn't happen.
Tinfoil hat. Dutton is all in on the JFK assassination. I just can't see that we wouldn't have solved it by now unless they don't want us to solve it. But, if it was the mob, we would have solved it. The CIA, fair enough, but, the mob thing, we would have done that by now. This is tinfoil hat.
This is the thing with conspiracy theories, though. We're not out to... the real conspiracy theories, I don't want to solve these things. Because then what am I going to talk about? I just want the questions. I
just want to sit in me underpants with the tinfoil hat on so the CIA can't read my thoughts.
Exactly.
Done. Famous people not being dead. I'm going to give you 2. Most famous, probably. Elvis, Tupac Shakur. I can't even say his name. Shakur. Why are people so sure that these people are not dead?
Well, having 9 albums come out with previously unrecorded material since you die can tend to be a bit of a giveaway at times.
That's Tupac for those.
That's Tupac, yeah. It was, his 5th posthumous album. Hang on, how much unrecorded stuff could he have had? Jesus, I know he was a hard worker apparently, but boats and hoes were happened to be taking precedence at times.
I'd say so.
The thing with Elvis was, let's be honest, he was a fat man on the edge of a connery.
Whoa, sorry for the half the American population who want Dutton dead right now.
Look, all I'm saying, let's remember Elvis as we remember him. Finn.
Yeah.
Not,
in Jailhouse Rock.
Jailhouse Rock type of guy, yeah. Singing, Suspicious Minds. Because to be honest,
he was
even
fat
in that video, he looked a bit ropey, didn't he?
I was going to say, he looks fat in that. Them jumpsuits don't do nothing for a fat guy.
They don't do it. I'd argue, unless you're in Star Trek, a jumpsuit isn't something you should be wearing anyway.
Touche, Dutton, touche. Dutton.
Come in.
That was me, sorry.
No.
William Shakespeare.
Mm.
Did you know that he didn't write any of the sonnets or plays? It was written by someone else, like Francis Bacon or Christopher Marlowe. Did you know that?
I've heard this, yeah.
They did a film about it, and half of the country went ape poop. Like Stratford refused to show it in cinemas.
Because I forgot all cinema has to be true, doesn't it? Yeah.
Except, well, Google Middle East and Noah after we get out of the show, Dutton, and see how that's gone.
Google U571.
Okay. Thought we got past that a couple of episodes ago, Dutton.
Not till True Detective finishes.
So if you were the most famous writer of an age, possibly on the planet, still one of the most famous people, surely you'd admit to it, right? Surely this conspiracy theory is ridiculous.
I would say so.
The only thing I've got on this conspiracy theory that makes me think it could be true is that, like, say it's Francis Bacon, he realised that by writing Romeo and Juliet or Macbeth or a Twelfth Night or Othello,
and Star Wars,
yeah, millions of kids would have to suffer reading word for word and having to write hundreds of words on one sentence of all of his books, and didn't want to be hated. Like, I know both you and I hated Shakespeare during our school days.
It's one of those, I think, a lot of subjects at school, your perception of them is how enthusiastically they are taught. It's like, I know a lot of people who say history is boring. Well, I'll guarantee then you had a boring history teacher. I mean, I'm fascinated by history because I was lucky I had some very enthusiastic teachers. I've never had a teacher who loved Shakespeare. They just were obliged to teach it, and that comes through. You know, there's teachers here who literally saying, if I hear one more sentence in iambic pentameter, I'm actually going to, bludgeon someone to death. That attitude seeps into the lessons, into the planning, and it emboldens the whole class with a hatred of the bard.
I think so, Dutton. I think you're right.
But then someone writes a parody book in Star Wars in iambic pentameter, and, it makes people wish that, they'd taken more attention.
No, it's true, Dutton. Very true. And I think that's the issue on the whole thing. Dutton,
Is your issue, though, that, that the people like Marlowe or Bacon, they literally thought, hang on, I'm this good at writing. This fella's getting all the bitches and, and all the dough. I want a bit of myself. And then they went off and forged their own successful careers.
well, yeah, I'd be stealing his career as well. No way he'd be hanging on my coattails, Dutton. Absolutely no way. Ain't happening. He's got to deal with the consequences. I wrote Romeo and Juliet, not him.
Yeah, we're painting William Shakespeare into some kind of Manchurian candidate in the not the Middle Ages, the
Tudor times.
The Tudor times of Middle England.
Yeah, Dutton, that's why we're wearing a tinfoil hat for this exact segment. Dutton, final one. And it's a classic. It's Area 51. And basically aliens in general. The concept that aliens have landed, we've captured them, experimented on them, and told no one about them. Where do you stand on this one, Dutton?
The obvious implication for me would be that if a race of beings incredibly superior to ourselves had come to visit this planet and for whatever reason had fallen victim, like as it's speculated, the spacecraft at Roswell, New Mexico, if we'd had these visitors, we hadn't taken proper care of them, and they hadn't returned to wherever the hell they'd come from, do you not think their big bad bigger brothers might have come and been a little bit angry that this race of puny children, which is what we are, in terms of as a species, how old we are nothing compared to like some of the other creatures that have been on this earth. Do you not think they'll come back and dish out a bit of retribution? You
would assume so, Dutton. I think that's fair to assume that someone would have had a go at about it. I suppose the next question to finish this off, Dutton, tinfoil on. Do you think there is life on other planets?
See, as is well known, and as everyone will tell you, I am a man of numbers, and the sheer weight of numbers, the probabilities and statistics of all the universe and all the universes and the universes, there being one planet to sustain, to have just developed life as we know it. It's so minute to be laughable. So, yes or no? Yes and no.
Do you know what, Dutton? On that note, I'm going to say yes, by the way, but on your note of the fact that you haven't actually said something related to picking anything for the whole episode, I think it's time to go.
Or is it?
Exactly. This has been episode 60 of Waxing Lyrical with Mainz and Dutts. Thanks for downloading, guys.